here we have a circle with an equilateral triangle inscribed inside. Each side length on the triangle is 24, and the radius of the circle, so going from the center to the edge, is w root 3. But I'm not going to draw the radius like this, and the reason is because of this gap right here. I don't know what this magnitude is, so I'm actually going to draw the radius from the center of the circle to the vertex of this triangle. Now this particular question is asking me to solve for w, and what you see on screen is enough information to solve. If you think you can do it on your own, pause the video here and try to solve, and we'll take it up in just a second. So there's a variety of ways to solve this. Let me show you just one of them. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw another radii from the center to the top vertex. Now I've created an isosceles triangle, and I can solve for the angles inside. Let's start with the obtuse angle at the center. Well, because this is an equilateral triangle, I know this is a third of the circle, and if a circle has 360 degrees, well then this angle right here must be 120. Well, I know the other two angles inside this triangle must sum up to 60, and since it's an isosceles triangle, I know they're the same, so let me just divide 60 degrees by 2 to give myself 30 degrees. Now I know each of these interior angles are also 30 degrees. The next thing I'm going to do is divide this isosceles triangle that I've made into two. And the reason I want to do this is because now I've created a right angle triangle right here, and I'm going to use this triangle to solve for w. So let me pull this triangle out of the circle and we'll focus on it specifically. Let's label all of the known values. Well, we know that this top angle is 60 because it's just 120 degrees divided by 2. And we know the bottom is 12 because it's just 24 divided by 2. And again, you can see all of this from the circle. Also from the circle, we know that this is 30 degrees. And finally, the hypotenuse of this triangle is w root 3. We don't know the other leg, but that's okay, we can find it later. Again, our task is to solve for w. And maybe you're looking at this and thinking to yourself, that looks like the 30, 60, 90 special triangle. And that's the exact thing you want to think of. Anytime you see a root 3 in a triangle, that's typically where you want to think first. So let's move this circle to the side and we're going to pull up the general 30, 60, 90 triangle. It looks like this. So the ratios of sides are one leg is x, another leg is x root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2x. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, wait a minute, we have an x root 3 here and a w root 3 here. So this will be easy, right? Well, look closely. One's on the hypotenuse and one of them's on the leg. So it's not actually as straightforward as it seems. We're not going to be comparing these two sides. Instead, we'll be comparing the sides that correspond to each other on these triangles. So we'll start by comparing these two. We know that they must be equal to each other, so let me solve for x. I know that 12 is equal to x root 3. I'm going to divide both sides by root 3. The root 3's on the right are going to cancel out, and that's going to give me x is equal to 12 over root 3. But we don't like radicals on the bottom, so I'm going to rationalize it by multiplying by root 3 over root 3, which is going to simplify to 12 root 3 over 3. And then finally, 12 over 3 can simplify to 4, which means that x is equal to 4 root 3. Awesome. But we still haven't solved for w. So I'm going to put my 4 root 3 up here because that's where the x value is. And now I want you to look specifically at how this value and this value are related. To go from x to 2x, we just multiply by 2, which means that to go from 4 root 3 to w root 3, we just need to multiply by 2. So let me set that up next. 2 times 4 root 3 is equal to w root 3. If I simplify the left-hand side, that's going to give me 8 root 3 is equal to w root 3. And now I can just compare the two values outside the root 3. We have 8 and w, which means that w must equal 8, and that's my solution.